Is the Bible true? Historical and archaeological proof you can't ignore. Have you ever wondered whether the Bible is just an ancient book of religious stories or a document grounded in actual historical events? Imagine discovering that what you thought were just spiritual metaphors are backed by archaeological digs, stone inscriptions, and documented eyewitness testimonies. In this video, we're going deep into the heart of the evidence for the Bible's authenticity. What you're about to hear could change your understanding of history and faith forever. Welcome to the channel that explores faith with facts, and spirituality with solid scholarship. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you won't miss our weekly videos examining Christian truth claims with rigorous evidence. Today, we're asking one of the biggest questions: can the Bible be trusted? We'll examine overwhelming historical and archaeological support for the Old and New Testaments, evaluate fulfilled prophecies, analyze internal consistency, and draw from secular and religious sources. Whether you are a believer, skeptic, or seeker, this video is for you. The Bible's manuscript evidence. Let's begin with what scholars call textual transmission. For any ancient book, the more manuscripts we have, and the earlier those manuscripts are, the more confident we can be in the original content. So how does the Bible hold up? The New Testament has over 5,800 complete or fragmented Greek manuscripts. Add to that over 10,000 Latin manuscripts and more than 9,300 in other ancient languages, totaling more than 25,000 ancient manuscripts. The time gap between the original writings and the earliest surviving manuscripts is astonishingly short. The John Rylands fragment p. 52 of the Gospel of John dates to around 125 AD, barely 30 to 40 years after the original was written. Compare this with secular classics. Plato has 7 manuscripts, Caesar's Gallic Wars about 10, and Homer's Iliad has roughly 1,800 with a time gap of 500 plus years. The Old Testament is also well attested, thanks to discoveries like the Dead Sea Scrolls, found in Qumran in 1947. These scrolls contain parts of every Old Testament book except Esther and date to 150 to 100 BC, proving the biblical text has been preserved remarkably. Textually, the Bible is the most reliable ancient document in existence. Archaeological evidence. What about physical evidence? Archaeology has played a major role in affirming biblical accounts. The telephone Dan stele, found in northern Israel, mentions the House of David. This is the first historical evidence for King David outside the Bible. The Mesha stele or Moabite stone refers to the Israelite king Omri and possibly even the House of David. The Cyrus cylinder confirms that the Persian king Cyrus allowed exiled people to return to their lands, a policy that aligns perfectly with Ezra 1:1-4. The Pool of Siloam, where Jesus healed the blind man, John 9, has been discovered and excavated. Pontius Pilate inscription, an engraved stone in Caesarea Maritima, confirms the existence and title of the Roman governor Pontius Pilate, who sentenced Jesus to death. These are just a handful of the more than 25,000 archaeological sites linked to biblical history. None of these findings have contradicted the Bible. In fact, archaeology continues to affirm it. Non-Christian historical testimonies, even writers who weren't followers of Jesus, mentioned him and events related to early Christianity. Tacitus, a Roman historian, wrote that Jesus suffered the extreme penalty under Pontius Pilate during Tiberius's reign. Josephus, a Jewish historian, wrote in Antiquities of the Jews about Jesus, a wise man, and referred to his crucifixion and the continued existence of his followers. Pliny the Younger wrote to Emperor Trajan about early Christians worshipping Christ as a god. These aren't Christian sources, they're hostile or neutral voices confirming key elements of Jesus' life, death, and the spread of Christianity. Fulfilled prophecies. One of the most astonishing proofs of the Bible's divine origin is prophecy. Over 300 prophecies about the coming Messiah are fulfilled in Jesus Christ. Examples: Isaiah 7:14, born of a virgin, fulfilled in Matthew 1:22-23. Micah 5:2, born in Bethlehem, fulfilled in Luke 2:4-7. Psalm 22 and Isaiah 53 describe crucifixion and suffering. Centuries before crucifixion was even practiced in Israel. Zechariah 11:12-13, betrayed for 30 pieces of silver, fulfilled in Matthew 26:15. What are the odds of one man fulfilling just 8 of these? According to mathematician Peter Stoner, it's 1 in 100 quadrillion. That's evidence worth taking seriously. Internal consistency and coherence. The Bible was written over 1,500 years, by more than 40 authors from different backgrounds and locations, yet it tells one cohesive story. From Genesis to Revelation, the theme remains, God's plan of redemption through Jesus Christ. Despite being written in 3 languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek, and across 3 continents, Asia, Africa, and Europe, the Bible's message is unified. That kind of literary harmony isn't just impressive, it's unprecedented. Scientific and cultural accuracy. While the Bible isn't a science textbook, it makes observations that show remarkable foresight. Isaiah 40:22 refers to the earth as a sphere centuries before this became common knowledge. The book of Job describes the earth, hanging on nothing, Job 26:7, again aligning with modern cosmology. The Mosaic Law outlines quarantine, sanitation, and dietary laws that protected people thousands of years before germ theory. This suggests divine insight well beyond ancient human knowledge. The Bible's influence on history and culture. The Bible shaped the moral foundations of Western civilization. Ideas such as human rights, justice, mercy, and equality before God trace their roots to Scripture. Hospitals and universities were founded by Christians inspired by biblical values. Abolition movements were driven by those who believed all people are created in God's image. The dignity of women, children, and the poor was elevated because of biblical teaching. Even critics admit, no other book has influenced human history as powerfully. What this means for you: if the Bible is true, then its message matters. This isn't just about history, it's about eternity. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6. The Bible claims you were created with purpose, that you're loved by God, and that salvation is offered through Jesus Christ. The evidence backs up the Bible's claims. The next question is, will you believe it? Closing thoughts. Thank you for watching. The Bible is more than a spiritual guidebook, it is a historically reliable, archaeologically supported, prophetically fulfilled revelation of God. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and comment below. Support our mission, buy me a coffee link. Keep seeking the truth. And remember, facts and faith are not enemies, they're allies.